It's Wednesday, June 21st, and this is Geeknights. Tonight, we talk about the recent anime convention, Anime Next.
And I gotta say, we're gonna have a much more exciting episode tonight.
Oh, were we ever?
Now, Jim Vowles is the con chair of Otakon, arguably the biggest anime convention in the world outside of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
If not the biggest in terms of area, definitely, in my opinion, the best.
And from talking to him, he's definitely an awesome dude.
Yeah, he took his time to come and talk to us about Otakon and himself, and we were gonna have this great interview for you tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those of you who listened to our Monday episode, I complained quite a bit about GarageBand and my new Mac and how it doesn't quite work at all for podcasting.
Yep, even though we're still using it right now.
Yeah, mostly because I decommissioned my old Linux box, but that's beside the point. Now,
Decommissioned too soon.
So we're all set. He's online. We're talking to him, idle chat, getting ready to do the interview. And I had tested, because the way we were going to do this interview was over iChat, because as far as Apple says, it just works.
Okay, wait. I think this is the time for me to read Apple's website.
All right, this is what Apple says as to how to make this happen.
All right. So even if today's guests are in Paris while you're in Peoria, you can still put on a podcast together. Just start an audio chat using iChat and hit record. GarageBand simultaneously records the audio from your chat and assigns different tracks to each participant identified by buddy name and icon, so you can edit everything seamlessly. And if using iSight cameras to conduct a video chat, GarageBand even captures a real-time still image every time each guest speaks. See? Instant podcast talk show, and you didn't even have to dodge a flying chair. That is the text from Apple's website on how to do an iChat plus GarageBand podcast internet audio interview.
Now, there's no more details, or here's exactly how to do it, or here's what to do,
or click this, then click that, then click this, then click that. That instructions do not exist.
Now, all right, it says run iChat, run GarageBand.
Start an audio iChat. We already did that.
Yep.
Hit record. We did that.
All right. Now, the thing is, it doesn't even say in what program to hit record. I assumed correctly that in GarageBand I had to do this, but it does not actually say.
It doesn't actually say, but it does have a little picture here of the record button from GarageBand.
Yes, I figured it out when I saw that there was, in fact, no record button in iChat.
Mm-hmm.
So I hit record in GarageBand. Now, well, first off, I did this yesterday evening, as I said, with James and Lisa, to test it, to make sure it works, because Jim Vowles is a guy we've really wanted to talk to for a while, and we wanted everything to go smoothly for him, because he's taking time out of his busy schedule to talk to us.
And being smart technology professionals, we always test something in a development sandbox before we do the real deal. We make sure it works in advance, and then when it comes time to go for real, we do it the same exact thing we did before that worked.
So James and Lisa were gracious enough to start up a little chat, and James even turned off much of his firewall to make it work, because he is more security conscious than we are.
Mm-hmm.
And we started a little chat, and then I hit record in GarageBand, and GarageBand said, hey, we noticed that you're trying to use GarageBand and iChat something. Would you like to record your iChat conversation? I said yes, and then it created a nice little podcast thing with a track for every person in the conversation, recorded all of our voices perfectly, and even did a little meta thing in the podcast track. All right, I'm recording with them, and then about 7 minutes into my recording, GarageBand suddenly says, hey, I can't record anymore. There are too many tracks or events or something, and I'm done. And it wouldn't let me record more than that 7 minutes.
Wow, 7 minutes. That's a great podcast. 7-minute interviews. Bam.
I was able to extend that somewhat by deleting the enhanced podcast track, the jingles track, every track but the one we were talking on. But even then, I wasn't able to test how long it would actually let me record, nor was I able to determine exactly what factor it was using to decide I couldn't record anymore.
Did you change the beats per minute like the guy in our forum said to?
Yes, I tried that. That caused all sorts of trouble, but then I finally got that to work, and it didn't help.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
But I recorded a conversation, and I figured I could deal with those little issues talking to Jim. So tonight, just now, a little while ago, this is why this episode is late, because normally we'd be done by now, and we'd just be talking about the cool interview we had. We start our little iChat. We're having some trouble because, as we learn later, there are a whole bunch of terrible bugs in the newer versions of iChat, and Apple won't say anything, but it seems like the internet is abuzz with people complaining and saying that, oh, you have to use this back level of QuickTime and this different back level of iChat and this version of OS X Tiger.
The actual problem seems to be from doing 5 minutes of research, so I'm not 100% sure this is right, but after 5 minutes of research, apparently in some version of iChat, they added some quality of service packets. And that means that a packet will go to the router and say, I need to be sent faster, and it'll get sent faster. And if the router doesn't support that, it just sends it normally. Apparently, it was screwing up some routers, making the packets get sent slower, so that when the packets didn't go through fast enough, Apple gets a message, iChat gets a message saying, your packet didn't go fast enough, and then it gives up, saying, oh, it's not fast enough, screw that. I wonder, what are these programmers at Apple writing this software? What the hell are they thinking?
Well, one, why were they trying to use... I mean, it's fairly common knowledge among internet professionals that the vast majority of any QoS metadata is ignored at best by the majority of the world.
Mm-hmm.
QoS is effectively impossible on the internet because the internet's the wild, wild west. Why should I, who has a router in some company somewhere, let someone else tell me, hey, my packet's important, please let me through fast? Because if that worked, everyone in the world would tell their packets to say that, and then you've defeated the purpose. No one plays nice on the internet, so QoS doesn't work. But that's not the topic for today, and I'm sure none of the anime fans care about the inner workings of the internets. But anyway, despite that, we had some glitches with, actually connecting in iChat due to this weird bandwidth QoS problem, but we eventually got it to work. And we're talking with Jim, and it's going really well, and he's a really cool guy.
And he was really nice.
Yeah, we asked him all the questions we had that we weren't going to bother with on the interview, but we just wanted to know. And while Scott's talking to him, I'm setting up everything. And then, all right, we've got the audio chat going. I've got GarageBand open. I got a podcast ready. I hit record. And the little nice dialogue doesn't pop up. It just starts recording as though there's no iChat going on.
It seems to be the case that if you have to start the audio chat with someone else, you have to be the inviter in order to get the recording to start.
Now,
if someone else invites you, it doesn't seem to record.
Though I think I got it to work that way with James and Lisa, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to do some testing with whoever's willing to run iChat and play with me later.
Yeah, this cannot be confirmed or denied by the internet. It's just a good guess because we were never able to get around that bandwidth issue when we started the chat, so we could never test both circumstances.
Yes, but bandwidth aside, GarageBand just ignored the thing, and it didn't give me an error or anything, and the Apple documentation said, oh, it'll just work. And there's absolutely no indication of what order you'd have to do anything or any possible problems you might run into.
And it's not like they don't give you any more controls or options. All you can do is push the one button they give to you. It's like if there was a giant factory, and the giant factory had one control, big red button, and you hit the big red button and a car comes out. It's a car factory. I just decided that. You hit the button again, a car comes out. You hit the button again, a car comes out. You hit the button, a car doesn't come out. What can you do besides jam that big red button 1,000,000 times and then kill yourself? You don't have any other controls. That's all they give you. They made it easy, and as a result, they made it impossible to do anything different if something goes wrong, figure out what goes wrong, or anything.
Now, to extend that a little bit further, I want to, because Scott's analogy here is really good, and I want to extend it because people have really seemed to express some confusion as to what I mean by context when I'm talking about Macs, and why the fact that Macs now, especially not so much OS X, but the applications like GarageBand and iChat, are so contextual, but they're contextual in such a bad way that it just frustrates me to no end and causes trouble. The red button has one context. The default context, meaning a context is like a scenario or a point of view. In this context, I hit the button, a car comes out. Now let's say next to the button there is a big lever, and the lever's to the left, it says car, and if it's to the right, it says SUV. And
so the same control, the button, does multiple things depending on different contexts.
Now, context is fine. I mean, almost every computer program in the modern world uses context.
And that's very important.
That's how UIs work. Contextual interfaces are the cornerstone of modern GUIs and modern computing. Now, say we've got the red button and the lever that says car and SUV. Great. I can look at the lever and see what state I'm in. I can see what context I'm in, and from that I can know what the red button is going to do. If I hit the red button and an SUV comes out, but I wanted a car, I can look and say, oh, the thing has to point to car, not to SUV. Let's say that lever's hidden. Let's say instead of a lever, there's a dude sitting in a glass room above the factory, and he's watching me. And if my hat's on forward, it's an SUV button. But if my hat's on backwards, it's a car button.
There's no way for you to know.
That's what Apple seems to be. Well, that's what GarageBand and iChat and all these iLife applications seem to be doing. They're super contextual, but they never directly tell you what context you're in. Thus, behavior is often unexpected or seemingly random, and because there's no feedback, there's no way to know what's going on or how to fix it.
Yeah, it's like if you have this side panel open and you click this button, then the button does this. But if you have this track selected and drag something into the side panel, then it does something different than if you had this track selected and you drag something into the same side panel. If I drag something into a panel, it should do the same thing no matter what else is going on every time.
But anyway, we, as a result, did not get to interview, at least on the air, Jim Vowles.
Sorrow.
Though we're going to try to schedule something again in the future once we figure out a way to make this work, probably involving Skype, which is a non-Apple software.
Which works very nicely, even though it was developed by the Kazaa guys. While they were evil back in the day, they were very good at programming evil. And they programmed a very good Skype, and eBay, some other good programmers, bought it and made it non-evil, and Skype is awesome for now.
Yep. So we're probably going to try to use that. Now, of course, Jim, this was like his last free night before he goes off on a flurry of conventions and leave and fun. So we might not actually catch him until after Otakon at this point.
That's fine. We'll get a whole bunch of... We can just not go to the con feedback panel.
Yeah.
And it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, but definitely look forward to it. We'll keep you appraised because from what little we got to talk to him, he's a great guy. I think he'll really be able to tell you a lot of interesting things about Otakon and anime conventions in general.
Yeah, especially the difference between Otakon and every other anime convention, which is something a lot of people don't understand, and I'd rather have him explain it than me, even though I understand it perfectly.
Now, as a nice bonus or a consolation prize, because we don't have the audio interview, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to talk about it on this episode, but we'll probably talk about it on the next episode. Before we did this, he gave us we did a text interview over email. We told him what questions we wanted to ask him, and he responded in email in case we didn't hook up audio-wise. So I'm going to put that in the forums with a link for anyone who wants to get just basically the text of a short interview we had with Jim.
Yep, so if you're interested in seeing what Jim Vowles had to say, we have some of what he had to say in our forums, and you should join them if you're awesome.
Yes. So, yes, it's definitely a trick to get you to join the forums, but also he really had some interesting answers about such topics as why the cosplay this year is going to be in the arena, which I think is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But anyway, we're going to hit some news. I don't have a news because I'm just kind of angry at my Mac. Even though I love my Mac, it's like a puppy that's really cute, and then it pees all over my floor.
That is so exactly what it is.
I still love the puppy, but why won't it stop peeing?
And everyone else has puppies, and they say they're so great, but they don't. My puppy doesn't pee on the floor.
Yeah, you know what? Either you're not trying to use your puppy to make podcasts to destroy the metaphor. I'm sure.
No, they're not trying to train their dog to sit up. They're just letting it roam free.
You know what? Maybe they just can't smell puppy pee.
Maybe they can't smell puppy pee. Maybe they don't give their puppy any water so it doesn't pee.
You know what? I'm not going to pour water in my Mac, and I never thought in all my life that I would say the words puppy pee on a radio show.
I just pictured a bumper sticker with a puppy peeing on an apple.
I just picture a puppy peeing.
Hey,
I've dealt with puppies.
Lift up one leg next to the tree. It's all good.
In fact, a herd of Irish setter puppies, like little tiny puppies, took me out once.
Okay.
I'll tell that story some other day if we do a show on dogs. But these puppies just took me down. Anyway, I don't have a news, which is fine because
Rim's news. Rim is angry at Apple.
Yes.
Flash, newsflash. Rim is still angry at Apple.
News at 11. And in fact, it is 11 because
Son of a bitch.
we're running late.
My news. Bill Gates is now slightly cooler because he is a pirater.
Yeah, now, I want to note right now that all the arguments about piracy and intellectual property have just been turned a little bit on their head because Bill Gates, the man who has the most money of anyone, he could buy a record company, buy musicians into indentured servitude.
Hollywood. Period.
He could buy everyone who's ever made music and hire them to make him music and play it live for him every day.
Yeah, you think rock stars are rich? Bill Gates could own every rock star. Bill Gates could buy and sell Michael Jackson, Madonna, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, and everyone twice.
So what did Bill Gates just do?
Well, there was an interview between the Wall Street Journal and Bill Gates that ran yesterday.
This is the kind of thing I'd expect from like a blogger who happened to interview him.
Allow me to read 4 lines.
This is so classic.
From this interview. Ready? Wall Street Journal says, "You watch physics lectures and Harlem Globetrotters on YouTube? ? Bill Gates says, this social networking thing takes you to crazy places." Wall Street Journal says, "But those were stolen, correct?" Gates says, "Stolen's a strong word. It's copyrighted content that the owner wasn't paid for, so yeah."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Bill Gates, who has all the money in the world, has no reason to pirates.
I guess Bill Gates is saying it's okay to do those Windows XP and Vista torrents on YouTube on Pirate Bay. So let's have at.
Now, I guess the actual serious point I would make is that look at the industry and look at this commodity of intellectual property, particularly audio and not so much full movies, but snippets of movies or short films or excerpts from things.
Digital video content.
TV episodes. Now, Bill Gates, who has infinite money, found it convenient, trivial, and in fact, he didn't even think that he was doing anything wrong to just watch this stuff. It's so easy to do it. It's so easy to get it. The most convenient way to get this media is to just download it.
I think I will just release now one of my many, many arguments against copyright, or at least modern copyright.
Yeah, we're not against people getting credit for their work or even from having a small monopoly. We're against modern copyright law and the fact that it's abused.
Let me just release one of my arguments. There is supply and there is demand. What are the rules of supply and demand, Rim? When supply goes down...
When supply goes down, price goes up.
Uh-huh.
When price goes up... Well, price really is the floating factor here.
That's correct.
When demand goes up, price goes up. If demand goes up and supply goes down, price skyrockets. Now, if supply is infinite, meaning supply keeps going up, then prices keep going down. And as the supply approaches infinity, the price approaches zero.
Yes, now, let's say the world had infinity apples. There was an apple tree that just spewed out so many apples that if at any moment, at any time during your life, you wanted an apple, there it was, apple, now immediately, and there's more of them. There's no running out of them.
Now, in this world, could you ever sell just an apple to someone?
No, because if they wanted an apple, they could just snap their fingers and one falls off the infinite apple tree, and there it is. So
now,
apples cost nothing when they are in infinite supply, and they don't cost anything to transport, and it doesn't cost anything to get them.
Now, despite this, the apple economy does not collapse, because while apples are infinite and free, there are still businesses now for turning those apples into pies, or baking those apples, making those apples into caramel apples, stacking the apples up nicely in your pantry instead of having them fall randomly. Yep. There are still opportunities for economic advancement, despite the fact that a commodity that was once limited is now unlimited.
Now look at the world we live in today. Recorded digital audio and video is infinite in supply. Therefore, it is worth jack and shit. If it's free to distribute. It's relatively free to distribute. You pay the cost of internet connection, which is already paid for. And once you've paid the entry fee, you live in a separate world where digital audio and video cost absolutely nothing. Someone going around trying to sell digital and audio and video in a world in which they are free would be like someone going around and setting up an apple stand where apples are $1 in a world of infinite apples.
I like how you've slipped into this kind of like Sunday morning TV preacher voice. It's good.
Is it good?
It's good. I like it.
Does it sound like a Sunday morning preacher? I wasn't trying to.
You keep doing this kind of whoa, da ba da ba ba.
Oh, I wasn't trying to.
It was good. I liked it.
Okay.
But anyway, despite this, there's still an economy around audio. You can't sell the audio digital file because those are infinite. But you can sell things like a live performance, swag about the audio, an interview, a compilation that's easy to get as opposed to the free ones you can get.
You
on
can
the
sell
internet.
your audio manipulating skills. Let's say I'm an apple pie master. You know, the people want to hire me to make apple pies. Let's say I'm a remixing master. Someone doesn't have a remix, as you know, and they want it, but it doesn't yet exist. They pay me to take these free digital audios on the internet, remix them into something new and great, which is then free, but I've been paid to make it, not paid, you know, to give it out or for the work itself. I'm paid for the creation, my labor.
Now, let's just talk about audio right now because video is still a whole, not so much video, but movies and feature films are a whole nother beast for other reasons.
The real problem with them is that they cost a lot more to make modern, high special effects, full-length feature films, where audio really doesn't cost anything to make.
Yep, and we've got a lot of ideas on that we really shouldn't get into on Anime Day.
Yes. All I can say about that is that right now, to make less than full-length feature film quality video is cheap enough where anyone can do it and is basically free.
However,
to make if you want full-length feature movies, you're going to have to wait for the cost of producing them to go down.
Or for now, pay, which luckily people are still paying enough to where movies keep getting made.
Yeah, because DVDs just seem to be worth it for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, look, people will pay the money for a DVD, even though it would be almost trivial to pirate that movie. That says a lot.
Yeah, there is also, you know, even today with the current downloading technologies, even the best pirated copy you can get from the internet is just not as good as a DVD. I mean,
Nah.
the DVD rip is many, many gigs, which no one gets. And you don't get the extras, and you don't get the surround sound, and it's not, you know, you're getting something for your DVD.
Now, the argument people make that I want to address right now, and it's so easy to squash, at least for audio, because the argument I always hear is, but if there's no direct compensation like that, then no one will make anything anymore. And I point out to you that Scott and I do a podcast 4 nights a week. We're pumping out hours and hours and hours of, at least I think is pretty good, audio content with absolutely not only no compensation, but no expectation of compensation.
In fact, we discourage compensation, and we have a Creative Commons license, which means you can remix this shit all you want. I'm surprised no one's made a Rim and Scott funky remix track yet.
I'm sure we've said enough words to where you could put the words together and make us say hilarious things.
Yes, or make a techno song and, you know, make the vocal tracks Rim saying, Rim doesn't give a shit. Rim doesn't give, or something like that.
As long as I'm wearing these, I can cast 2 spells simultaneously.
There you go.
All right, that was the most inside joke we've ever said on the air.
Well, is it really?
Yeah, no one knows about that but the 2 of us, and possibly Ken on the forums.
Okay. Well, we're gonna hightail it to things of the day.
All right, now, for all of our new listeners out there, we were kind of angry at the beginning, so we didn't do it. But this is new listener week because we've noticed all of you downloading the episodes.
Yes, so we're going to do a little new listener spiel before we do the things of the day,
Yep.
and then we'll do the new listener thing of the day spiel.
But to all you new listeners, that music means it's time for Things of the Day.
Yes, it does. The thing of the day is on this podcast, every episode, we each talk about something cool, usually on the internet.
Yep. Now,
And you should go visit it.
Yeah, my thing of the day is actually kind of old school, but I've realized that a lot of people haven't got it when I've made jokes or references to it. And while it's a staple on Fark.com...
Oh, we didn't do the explaining. That's fine.
Oh, right, all right. The explaining, I forgot.
Yeah, you just get right into that thing of the day, so anxious.
Yeah, partly because I'm staring at GarageBand and seething at it.
Yeah, so Geeknights is a podcast 4 nights a week. It's a late-night show for geeks.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm Scott.
I'm Rim.
There you go, in case you're confused.
Yep.
Giggity,
Giggity!
Yeah. What else do we say about... All right, Monday is science technology. Tuesdays, video games, board games, and role-playing games.
Wednesdays, anime, manga, comics. Thursdays, pretty much anything. We've got a couple of very popular series, such as How to Not Suck and our Geek Fables.
Yep, so, and soon to be something else also.
Yeah, we got some
works.
We got some fun things in the works.
Yeah, so it's a Wednesday. It's anime, manga, and comics. We're going to talk about Anime Next, which is a convention we went to recently.
Yep.
We were going to give you an interview with the head of Otakon, but we're not going to because we already explained that. 100%.
We got a website, www.frontrowcrew.com. We've got forums there with a rockin' community. We've got a Frapper map. You can put a little pin in a map and see where all our listeners are. Many of them are in Australia and the United Kingdom.
Yes, go to the Frapper map and put your little dot on the map so we can see where you are.
We've got listeners on almost every continent.
Well, there's no Antarctican listeners. No, I think there's Asian listeners. I want to see some listeners in the Middle East.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Well,
Africa, too.
I know someone who knows someone who's living in Egypt now. I should ping him and tell him to listen to our show.
Oh, that'd be great.
Anyway, yeah. So you're obviously listening. I'm sure many of you, especially since it's Anime Day, might have heard about us at Anime Next, which is what we're going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And if you did, welcome. We're glad you saw our flyer or met us.
Yes, and right now we're going to do the things of the day, which is every episode I already said. We talk about something cool we saw on the internet. One each. One for Rim and one for Scott.
So like I was saying, my thing of the day is something that is really well known to FARC and to a lot of geeks, but you might have missed over this one because it was kind of a flash in the pan. I refer to lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, sleep, sleep, death, death, death.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's all right. LARPing, live action role playing, which I want to say right now, I have nothing against. I think it can be really cool.
I think it's scary.
Well, it can be really cool, and I have nothing against it as an idea, as a game. I have issue with many of the people I have met in my life who happen to do it.
You know what I think? I think it's not even many. I think it's pretty much all.
It's not all.
It's like if you had a movie, and the movie could be cool, but the problem is the only people who ever go to see this movie are scary perverts, and they jerk off to the movie all the time, and no one else ever goes to see it.
However,
But it could be cool.
I went to a gaming convention a long, long time ago, and they had a LARP D&D, which was actually really, really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, now, there are some classes of LARPers just roleplay. Some of them think they're actually vampires or witches or whatever they happen to believe. And some of them go out into the woods and hit each other with boffa weapons or foam-covered weapons.
And some of them do all three of those things. And more.
Now, this is just a short video someone took of a group of nerds, and I say nerds as opposed to geeks, and you'll see why when you watch
They're
it.
nerds. Oh, these are nerds.
Now, they're having some sort of D&D fight. It looks like some climactic battle. And there's this one guy who's a wizard, and he looks like you know those SCA people, the Society for Consenting Adults?
I thought it was creative anachronism.
You know what? It could go either way.
It goes both ways.
Like a bisexual.
Yes, Ted.
That was the joke. Now, this guy, you get the vibe that he's one of them, except those people are usually pretty cool. This guy is, you just have to see it. He's casting lightning bolt, which means he's running at this guy, throwing tennis balls at him, and yelling, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, and it's just...
A wizard can't even... this is nerdy. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
You can't even cast lightning bolt more than once every 6 seconds. He's obviously cheating, or he's so high level he has some sort of meta magic feat.
He could have quick casting feats or something.
That's what I said, meta magic feats.
Yeah, or it could be second edition where you can just make stuff up.
It could be second edition.
Ah.
Ooh. Then he could have haste.
Oh, man.
Real haste.
Haste? I miss haste.
And then, like, boots of something else to get double haste.
And then a Vorpal sword, and, oh, yeah.
I think that other guy had a Vorpal sword. The other guy had freaking power word kill.
Yeah.
I guess no one made their saves because they just died.
Yeah. So if you've ever heard me yell lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, and you thought I was just being weird, kind of like when no one knew what that ha-ha thing was.
We're making fun of nerds, not geeks. Nerds.
Yes, there's a big difference between nerds, geeks, dorks, dweebs, assholes,
Doofuses. So everyone's a doofus sometimes.
Yeah, but some people are doofs.
Yeah, a doof is not a doofus. A doofus? Yo.
Don't do what Donnie don't does.
Don't doofus what Donnie doof don't doof.
Dang dilly dang dong dang. Dang it.
So, my thing of the day
is awesome.
Is really awesome. I went through a whole bunch of things today before I settled on one.
Yeah, he had something else, and then he found this while I was typing up the show notes for this episode.
Yeah, it was like at the last minute. The best one came up. Now, who knows the Karate Kid? Raise your hand. Rim, you don't raise your hand.
I'm doing that crane kick thing.
Oh, okay.
I actually am.
So I guess you're raising both hands,
And
but you're
one
also
leg.
sitting down. Anyway.
Not anymore. I got it. Woo!
There he goes. So, there was a Karate Kid game for the NES, and a whole bunch of kids who liked the Karate Kid. I actually didn't see the Karate Kid till much later in life, so I didn't like the Karate Kid. But people who liked the Karate Kid were kids, obviously, and they bought the NES game of the same name.
I want to say right now that I played that game many times. I owned it, and then I sold it back to Funkoland, and watching this video was one of the most cathartic experiences I've ever had.
Now, I never played this game. I might have played this game once in an emulator, but that doesn't really count. I didn't even know. I knew this game existed, kind of. Like, I didn't specifically remember it, but if you would have asked me, was there a Karate Kid NES game, I would have said yes. I couldn't tell you anything about this game until watching this video. The kid basically, and he seems like a cool kid too, plays the Karate Kid NES game and gets pissed off at it with good reason. And then he explains why he is so pissed off.
In hilarious fashion with video. Like, the best part is where he's talking about how easy it is to die and how you keep falling into pits and enemies keep knocking into you pits and you can't jump because when you jump, enemies knock you into pits. And meanwhile, it just shows the guy falling into pits constantly despite playing as well as a human could.
The last time he falls into a pit is just hilarious because he avoids it so many times before falling in. And if you're a hardcore old school NES gamer and you see this, you will go, yes, 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 that's exactly what it was, yes. And if you're not an old school NES gamer, if you're one of those kids where the first Final Fantasy you played had a number higher than 5, in the US, or, a PlayStation to you is old. PlayStation 1 is old school as far as you're concerned.
Yeah, I mean, to us, the PlayStation 1 is this upstart.
Yeah.
This punk kid that appeared.
Yep. Or, if you think GoldenEye is an FPS classic as opposed to Wolfenstein 3D or Doom.
We lived in a world where the number 1 and number 2 gaming platforms were Nintendo and Saga. Where when it was a rumor...
There were only 16 bits in those days. Back in my day, we had 16 bits to run our video game systems.
Yeah, back in my day...
And we thought that was too many.
We didn't have video games. Every morning, our old men would take us out to the uranium mines and beat us with belts all day. You know what? And we liked it.
That's right.
But
if you're a new school gamer, at least newer school, at least if we would consider you new school... If you're a punk kid as far as we're concerned,
yeah, 'cause we're
you
old
need
men.
to watch this because then you will understand what NES gaming was like for the vast majority of NES games.
Yes.
And you will see why you suck at video games because we beat these things daily.
I mean, today, look at the new Mario game for the DS. You can save your game.
I beat that thing in like a day or two.
You don't... In Mario 3, the best Mario ever as far as I'm concerned, with the Mario...
Sometimes if I try to beat Mario 3, first of all, it takes forever. Second of all, sometimes I can't beat it. Sometimes I die near the end.
Yeah, it just run out of lives.
Or I mess up my P-Wing and then I don't have enough.
Yep.
Damn P-Wings.
It used to be that beating a game, it's not like now where you're pretty much guaranteed to beat the game if you play it for the requisite amount of time. Back then, beating a game was an event whereupon you called your friend down the street. You don't care if it was 2 a.m. and you said, "Oh my God, Joe, you got to go over here. I'm just about to beat Final Fantasy 1. You got to see the end. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God."
Yeah, because the odds of all of your friends beating the same game were next to nil. It's like everyone had Mega Man 2, but I beat Mega Man 2.
Yep.
No one else even came close. They were busy playing other games.
Everyone's specialized. Like, Scott's the Mac Master in Mega Man 2, but I am the only one in this household who can beat Bionic Commando.
I could beat Bionic Commando if I tried. Because when I played Bionic Commando, first of all, I never had it on the NES. Second of all, I didn't know you could level up until you showed me that. Now knowing that I can level up, I could probably get significantly far in Bionic Commando.
You could get to the end, but I'll note that the levels with the flame at the end are not
Maybe
cool.
I would have trouble with the flame, but I think I could beat the Hitler. You ever given about Hitler?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so everyone needs to watch this thing of the day. It's very, very important and very, very amusing.
All right. Now, nominally, we're going to talk about anime next today, which it's going to be a little short on the main bit. We're going to go a little short here. For one, because we weren't planning on talking about anime next. We were planning on interviewing Jim Vowles.
But since we have to talk about anime next, and we spent a bunch of time dealing with technology that sucks, Apple, we now have to cut this short because we're tired, and I have to go to the city tomorrow for a concert.
Well, as do I, but it's fine.
Wait a minute, how are
because-
we going to do an episode tomorrow if we're at some concert?
Shit, we might not.
Oh, shit.
You know, I don't think there's going to be an episode tomorrow because we're not going to get back home from New York City until, like, late.
Wow, there goes new listener week.
Yeah, we're not going to record an extra episode tonight.
Oh, yeah, I guess not.
And we're not-
I wish you would have thought about that before.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe we'll do an episode Friday to make up for it.
With people here.
Yeah. Stay tuned for a possible first use of our unscheduled episode category.
Yeah, there might be a special Geek Nights on Friday, and if you only subscribe to one day of the week, you won't see it. You'll only see it if you subscribe to the total Geek Nights.
Or just go to the website and download that one.
Yeah, that works too.
Yeah, but it works out because honestly, Anime Next is a great con, but we don't have a lot to say about it that's particularly insightful or different from what we'd say about any other good anime con we go to.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot to say about Anime Next itself, but there is stuff to say about our experience at Anime Next.
True.
Because Anime Next for us was different than other cons because we didn't know anyone there, we didn't have plans, and we only went for one day.
Yep. Also, this is the first con I've gone to in a long time, at least anime cons, because gaming cons are different, but normal anime con where I wasn't staff, I wasn't a panelist, I wasn't there with the press, I was just me, some schmuck who paid to get in.
And I was also some schmuck, and so was our friend Katsu.
Yep. And I got to admit, it was a little weird. Like, I'd see punk kids about to cause trouble. This was the biggest thing, is I'd see a group of kids running through the hall with a sword, or something bad was about to happen. And I was about to get up and run over and go, all right, you guys got to settle down, blah, blah, blah. Then I realized I don't have any right to do that. I'm just some guy.
You are just some dumb guy.
I don't have some badge that gives me power.
Yep. So, Anime Next. We were only there on Saturday. We stayed pretty much most of Saturday.
Yep.
From when the con started, pretty much like a half hour into it.
I was kind of up for staying later and going to the rave and everything, but Katsu and Scott weren't so much.
Yeah, I wasn't too into the rave.
Plus,
and
Scott had to drive home, so I don't really feel bad for avoiding the rave, even though I kind of wanted to
especially
stay
since the
for it.
drive there was less than perfect.
Yeah, driving to this convention, which
And
is
I hate driving in Jersey.
it's in the meadow. I hate driving in Pennsylvania a lot more than I hate driving in Jersey.
Mm.
Because at least in Jersey, if you can get to the Garden State, you're okay.
At least far as we're concerned.
Yeah. Who goes anywhere else in Jersey?
People do.
Yeah, we know.
People do.
Actually, we probably will soon, but anyway.
Yep.
Now, getting to the Meadowlands, we've gone there I've been there for 3 conventions, and Scott's been there for 2. We never fail to have trouble getting there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a somewhat obtuse place to get to.
I think what happened is he wanted to get off exit 17, but there was traffic, and I didn't see the exit sign. And there was a road that was closed, but it wasn't really closed, and it totally threw us off. So we had to go across a bridge, turn around, come back. There wasn't an exit 17 on the way back. I had to get off the road, drive around on random roads, turn around in a commuter lot until eventually I was like, hey, there it is.
Yep.
Just by luck,
The
pretty
first
much.
UberCon I went to, I got lost, and it was like 2 in the morning, and I ended up just driving back on like the Takane.
At least now we know our way around the Meadowlands mall, plaza, hotel, convention area.
Yep.
So if we're ever there again, we know how to get in and out.
Now, the main guests of honor at Anime Next, which actually was cool because we listened to them talk. And
Yeah, usually I don't go to panels. I mean, I went to panels my first Otakon, at least, famous guest panels, and now I tend to not go to them because I don't find them so interesting. But, well, we went to one.
yeah,
For
and
the first time in a long time.
this was Rintaro and Masao Mariyama.
Moriyama, yes. Moriyama's going to be at Otakon, too. He's making the rounds, him.
Now, if you don't know, because this is the kind of thing the Anime World Order guys, they'll probably yell at us if we get it wrong, but
Don't yell at us, please.
All right.
We're going to...
notables, the things that Rintaro worked on include Galaxy Express 999, bunch of Captain Harlock stuff, Metropolis, X. I'm not going to... I'll mention it. Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals, which is ass.
No!
But that's not his fault. Phoenix, Dagger of Kamui.
One of the Phoenix anime.
Yeah. All sorts of stuff like that. He worked alongside Osamu Tezuka,
Back in the day.
who is the god of... In fact, it says here in the con book, god of manga.
Yep. Osamu Tezuka is the god of manga.
I mean...
I'm in the process of getting all his manga except Astro Boy.
And I want to say that in our case, that is not an opinion. That is the accepted nomenclature of everyone in the world who knows about manga.
Yes. Yes,
no
it
one,
is.
I mean, no one disagrees on that point. I defy any of you to disagree on that point because we'll stick the Anime World Order guys on you, and they'll find the truth of kicking your ass.
And I will throw my volumes of Tezuka manga at you, and you will feel the lump on your head. And you will die in a fire.
Now, the other guy, Murayama, Parakeet, Monster, the TV show, which honestly I didn't like, the new Vampire Hunter D, X, Metropolis. Oh, I didn't realize he was Gunslinger Girls.
Yeah, Madman Studios. He's basically a producer. Rintaro's a director. So Rintaro makes specific shows and he directs them. And Murayama is the producer of Madman Studios, which made shows like Trigun and
Yep. Jubei-chan, Perfect
Yep.
Blue, Cardcaptor Sakura, some stuff for the Animatrix he had a hand in.
yeah, I think they produced the new Nana show.
Yeah, Nana, which I love.
Yeah, Madman is a very big anime studio. They're up there with who's else's big anime studios? Gonzo, Gainax, all those big anime studios. Madman's one of the biggest.
Now, two things about their panel is that, one, they showed us a video clip of a whole bunch of openers to shows.
Shows that weren't out yet in America. Shows Americans shouldn't know about.
They presented it as here's what we're working on right now. Here's the cool stuff from Japan.
Well, here's the cool stuff that's on TV right now in Japan that we made.
We've seen all of the shows that they
Every
showed.
show that they showed, we knew about and had seen.
In fact, we're watching regularly multiple numbers of them.
That is correct.
Except Black Lagoon, which I have almost no interest in.
Yeah, Black Lagoon. We watched one episode and that was that. We didn't even watch the whole episode.
No, we didn't.
We'll review that in some show coming up.
Yeah, once con season winds down, so after Otakon, we're going to start reviewing anime again.
We'll probably crunch like a whole bunch of anime per show because we'll do all the crappy ones
Yeah.
that don't require a lot of talking.
Yeah, because I think Nana's going to get its own episode at this point.
I think it definitely is. Probably when it's done.
In fact, a quick aside, because people have actually been asking me, and we kept saying we do it, but we're not. Well, we haven't. But right now, what we're watching, because people have wondered what's going on, do we still watch anime? We're watching Nana, which is a very good show. I highly recommend it.
Mhm.
Regardless of what kind of anime you like, you probably will like Nana.
Especially if you have a vagina. You will like Nana a lot.
Now, I
If
point
you have
out...
a penis, you will only like Nana if you can forget that you have a penis for like 5 minutes.
Okay, I find that funny coming from Scott because this is a show about two girls living together in Tokyo. That's the kind of show Scott would say, whatever, that's stupid. He's watching it along with me and loving every second of it.
Not every second.
Yeah.
Some parts of it are eh.
Yeah, whatever. You love it.
It's really similar. I always seem to watch, like, I'm big on the intellectual animes, like the stuff that Satoshi Kon makes, and I'm big on the literary manga, like the stuff Tezuka makes. But all the time, I always have one show that's like a crap, not intellectual show that's just stuff that I watch. Like, I watched Initial D,
Initial D.
and then I watched Goku-sen, which is about a teacher who's in the Yakuza. And then I watched Beck, and this is really similar to Beck. So this is my non-intellectual show of the moment.
Yeah, I love Nana, and I at least watch a couple episodes. I almost promise you'll like it. If you don't like it, call in, give us some feedback, and tell us why not.
Yeah, and some of I think episodes 4 and 5, maybe 6, are part recap, but watch them anyway because they're recap plus.
Yes, like they're really worth watching. I can't stress that enough. Just bear with it because it's worth it. There's payout.
And there's also the Nana manga, which I haven't read. I'm probably not going to. Maybe I'll look at it in the store. Maybe I'll buy the first one. Maybe I'll get Rim to buy it.
Yep. Now, other things we're watching. We've been watching Ergo Proxy, but we've kind of tapered
We have
off.
a shit ton of episodes. We got to watch them.
Yeah,
Of course, I think it's licensed, so maybe the DVDs will come out before we ever watch it, and we'll buy them instead.
That's why we kind of tapered off on that. I am watching Host Club, or on High School Host Club, and Scott's watching it off and on with me.
Yeah, it's basically I don't really care where the show goes because I pretty much got everything I need to get out of it in the first episode, but it's funny, so I could watch any random episode to get the comedy, and I don't really need to watch the whole show.
Yep, it was kind of like you were with the Hanayori Dango.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, Hanayori Dango, after you really want to watch that show, the first bunch of episodes, and then stop because
Yeah, pretty much watch up until she
What was that one
vomits.
with like the H or something? Or
Yeah, the 4F or the 4H.
whatever
4F,
it's
not
called.
4H.
The 4F, yes.
Yeah.
No, the F4.
Yes, Emily and I were talking about this last night because she watched the
Honey Oridango has a manga, a TV drama,
which she just watched.
and an anime. And does it have a movie? Maybe.
I don't know offhand.
Honey Oridango is one of those things that exists in every medium in Japan, and it's hard to say which one's the best.
Yeah, we'll probably do a whole show on it because there's a lot we could say about it.
We'd need to go get some manga and something. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's also called Boys Over Flowers.
Yes. Now, also, what was that show? The Utaware something?
Utaware Rumono.
We only watched one episode. I want to watch more. I just haven't gotten around to it. But it's on the list of things that I'm going to be watching.
Yeah, I don't really have an interest in watching that show more than the first episode, but I do want to know what the deal with the mask is. So if anyone knows the deal with that guy's mask, like is it a demon? Is it a... Just tell me, because that's all I want to know.
Don't tell me.
Yeah, don't tell Rim.
'Cause I
He'll
wanna
find
watch
out
it.
when he watches the show.
Yep, even though I haven't had a chance to watch it because I've been busy.
Yep. Also, I bought, according Anime World Order again. Listen to the Anime World Order podcast. Come on.
Yeah, we don't even need to play a promo. Just listen to them. They're awesome.
Yep. I bought all of Master Keaton, which is 8 DVDs and 35 episodes, I think, for $5 each at Anime Next. Here we go, back to Anime Next. If it's not good, Anime World Order, I'm going to kick your asses at Otakon. You made me spend $40.
Now, speaking of that, this is a nice tangent to get us back onto our main topic, Anime Next.
That's why I did it.
Now, Scott said he bought all of Master Keaton. In addition, we bought, between all three of us, myself, Scott, and Katsu, like 40 DVDs?
It was a lot of DVDs. Compared to, I really don't buy anime DVDs so often anymore since Initial D and Gundam Seed finished. So the fact that I bought so many DVDs is crazy.
Now, we're walking around in there, and we see a guy who has a huge sign. It says,
No, wait. Let's start a little before that. We don't really go to cons to the dealer's rooms anymore. The dealer's rooms are kind of We've seen everything they got.
We're jaded old men. We go to a dealer's room, we're like, meh, seen it, crap, seen it, crap.
Exactly.
We walked into this dealer's room expecting, like, we're going to walk in, walk out, and then we'll go on with our con business. We ended up buying a pile of stuff.
Man, they had the best deals on, PVC figurines and gachapons, and they had really good deals on little keychains.
Yep, I have such an awesome set of Lupin PVCs that I can't get over it.
Yep. I bought a nice Link thing for my cell phone. I have a Zelda 1 Link stabbing the sword on my cell phone.
Not the wooden sword, not the red sword, the sword.
The sword.
That's a geek fable.
It sure is.
All right, I got a little Lacus Klein. It's not really Lacus Klein, but screw you all, it's Lacus Klein.
That's right. Gundam Seed Destiny does not exist.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned. Because I bought a little cell phone dongle, and it's this cute Lacus Klein. And I go up to the people selling. I'm like,
Well, there were two Lacus Kleins. There was a cute one and a not so cute one.
and I was like, give me that cute Lacus Klein. And they're like, oh, that one, that's not Lacus Klein. That's, what's her name from Destiny, blah, 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 blah. And they talked and talked and talked and talked and talked.
And you wish they wouldn't have said that.
And then they were like, and then they reached to give me the real Lacus Klein. I was like, nah, just give me that other girl and I'll pretend it's Lacus. And they're like, you should watch Destiny. It's really good. And then they gave me their list of reasons why it's good, which was identical to my list of reasons of why I don't want to watch it.
What was their list of reasons?
They were like, all the cool characters from before come back, and you get to see them all doing stuff again, and there's all sorts of Lacus and Astaroth, and just fan servicey crap. Not fan service like TNA, but fan service like, I don't want to ruin Gundam Seed. But Gundam Seed does a thing where a character appears near the end for no purpose other than the audience to go, woo!
Yep. It would be like if you have a show and there's a favorite character and you make a character that people like, and then that character, for some reason in the plot dies or goes away or, becomes a traitor or something like that. And then later in the show, you just make hints to that character because people like the character so much they get all excited. So it was like if you made a show just doing things in the plot where the plot is there only to make fans happy and not to have a decent plot. That's what the kind of fan service we're talking about now. It's like if someone just wrote a fanfic of Gundam Seed and called it Gundam Seed Destiny.
Yeah, I mean, apparently Gundam Seed Destiny had these other characters, but no one cared about them, and eventually they just brought all the original characters back in.
Great. That means they didn't plan it from the beginning, and yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we bought a pile. While we're buying all this crap in the dealer's room, just buy. And then we see a big sign, $5 DVDs. And I think, all right, that's got to be a pile of crap. But let's go check it out. There might be a gem.
A lot of gems.
They were all gems. It was good anime that just happens to be $5 because it's old.
Got all of Master Keaton.
I got Someday Dreamers. Just
I
'cause it
would
was
have
cheap.
gotten 3 DVDs of Crying Freeman, but they didn't have DVD number 2, so I only got DVD number 1, and I let DVD number 3 just sit there.
I got a bunch of random Lupin. I almost bought all of Mini Goddess, but I wasn't sure if it was $5 per DVD in the set or $5 for the set. And
I think anything that was packaged on its own was $5.
the reason I was leery is that I also saw Mini Goddess DVDs separately.
Oh.
And it was too crowded to ask the guy, and I was going to go back and ask later when there was no one around, but I never had time for that, so I didn't get it.
Yeah, Nea Under 7, $5 a DVD.
Yep.
Hi Bonnie Renmei, $5 a DVD.
Yep. So I bought basically the first episode of everything I could grab because I love owning the first episodes of things.
Yep.
Well, the first DVD.
What else do they have there? Lots of old robot shows. I bought Kishin Core. If you don't know about Kishin Core, a.k.a. Geo Armor in the United States, but it's Kishin Core, fuck you. That is a fucking awesome show, and you should get it. It comes in just one little box. I think there's 2 or 3 DVDs in it with the whole show, maybe 6 episodes, I think. It is freaking awesome, steam-powered, Nazi-fighting robot action. It is worth every penny. Especially
Yes.
$5. It's like I was robbing the guy.
Yeah, every DVD I picked up, I thought, I don't really want this, but it's only $5.
Yeah. So, Dealer's Room, surprisingly, jaded old men who don't care about dealer's rooms found that to be one of the highlights of the con.
Also, I'll note that there was a lot of Death Note merchandise in the dealer's room.
Oh, was there ever?
I expect by Otakon, it's just going to be a sea of Death Notes and people dressed up as Misa Misa and Al.
Gotta watch out for those Ryuk cosplays. That's what the action is.
The first one I see, I'm going to interview him.
Yep. How long did it take you to make this? You're awesome. Wow, that's awesome. You're awesome.
In fact, I should carry an
How
apple
awesome
around.
are you? All right, let's see. I'll give you $1 if this costume also does the upside downy, inside outy,
And the twisty.
and the twisty.
All right. Now, anyway, aside from that, we went to some of the panels. Now, we didn't go to many just because, we were only there one day and we didn't have that much time. But there was a panel, We Want a Revolution.
Now, the reason I went to this panel is because the guy on the panel was a fellow podcaster named Ian Levinstein, and he does a podcast called Geek Speak. I think his website, I'm not 100% sure, is geekspeakgeek.com or Speak Geek Speak.
Oh, great. That's helpful.
No, I think it's speakgeekspeak.com.
Speaky geeky geeky.
Let me try it. You can just keep talking about the panel while I type in his URL.
Yeah. Well, it was just... I don't know why this panel existed. I mean, no offense to the guy, but it was just him talking about the Wii. And what bothered me, and things like this bother me. It bothers me when there's someone who isn't an authority and isn't even pretending to be an authority, but because they're behind the magic table of being a panelist or a staffer as opposed to a congoer, everyone who isn't on that side of the table assumes that they're an expert and treats them as though they're like this deferred to authority figure.
Yes.
People were asking him questions that there's no way he could have known the answer to, and he was just making it all up.
The other thing is, he doesn't know any more than we do. In fact, we knew more than he did because we read the internet a lot more than he does.
Yeah, we
apparently.
we had to call it, we went and talked to him after, and he was cool, but we had to call him out and point out that they had 2 examples of, Sony's missteps with HD and Blu-ray and everything. And the 2 examples that they talked about were both completely debunked and disproven by the internet hours after being reported.
Yep, his website is speakgeekspeak.com, and he does some podcasts that you can listen to.
We're just busting his balls because of the panel he did. He seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, he is a pretty cool guy, and his podcasts aren't so bad. He even had a nice rant on one of his recent podcasts, even though I forget the topic of the rant. I think it was a rant about how people just dismiss all manga as a genre as opposed to a medium.
That's a good rant.
Yeah, it was a pretty good rant.
Now, there was a panel we wanted to go to but didn't just because it was late at night. Bad anime, bad.
I've seen that panel listed in a lot of con schedules, but I've never gone to it. If anyone out there has been to a bad anime, bad panel, tell me about it. Tell me if it's worth going to because, again, Anime World Order has made it unnecessary to check out bad anime. Odin!
God, it's like it's gnawing at my brain that I have to see the unedited version of that now.
No, you don't. No.
I have to.
Bad, Rem, bad.
I've got to know.
Okay.
It's the end. I'll see it, and then I'll kill myself, and that'll be the end of it.
Yep, the cosplay we didn't go to, but it actually looked like there was some good stuff going on there.
We walked in at the back and peeked in the middle of one of the most elaborate cosplays I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was like this choreographed Utena set to music thing, and the costumes were really good. And I didn't know what was going on because I missed the beginning of it, but it was cool looking.
Yeah, usually choreographed fight cosplays are terrible. They're the worst cosplays imaginable. But this one actually wasn't so bad. Like, I was like, oh, all right, good job. That was. See, that should be the gold standard for the average cosplay. If you go to a cosplay at a con, every cosplay should be at least that good. And then the winners should be even better. If it was like that, I would go to every cosplay ever. The problem is, most cosplays are far, far worse than that one.
Yep, though we have friends who do good cosplays, and there are good cosplays out there.
There are. Good cosplays do exist, but the most cosplays do not good. Do.
Yep, at least...
B, English lose, impossible B, do.
At least with Otakon this year, because the cosplay is going to be in the arena, I think they're going to mitigate a lot of the line problem, so it might be more worth it for people who we would normally say, skip the cosplay to go check it out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's both appealing to me to go to the cosplay in the arena, which will be insane, but it's also appealing to hang out in the convention center while it's empty because everyone else is at the cosplay. Now, especially on Saturday night, which is happening.
I'll also just note at Anime Next, which seems to be a trend this year in all the cons I've been to so far, there has been a significantly increased furry and plushy presence.
Super Dolphy presence.
A lot of
yaoi
super
hentai presence.
Yeah, but yaoi hentai has been on the rise for a while. I've expected it. I haven't expected furries to explode so suddenly into con culture.
The whole perverted aspect of the con.
Well, look, right now, I'm looking at one page of the panels to Anime Next, and half of them are hentai panels, or here's one, the Pervy Plushy Workshop. That can be nothing but horror.
Yes. Now, here's the thing that gets me, is back in the early cons I went to, like the first couple years of going to cons, the cons had a hentai panel. They had people who liked hentai. They had a hentai showing, possibly. But everything that was like that was sort of in the back. It was toned down. It was not the focus. It was, it was pushed away, hidden. Like, yes, we do this, but we don't like to talk about it. As it should be. Nowadays, it's the forefront. They push it out in the open like, come on to the hentai. We're having a Yuri-con, a Yaoi-con, a Furry-con. Woohoo! Let's all be perverted.
I'll note, Scott, furry cons are old and steeped in tradition.
Yes, but I'm saying now the anime cons are leaning more towards the furry cons, the yaoi cons.
Well, I think what it is, and I'd love to do a whole show on this, is that of all the geek fandoms, it seems that anime is the most universal or the most widespread, or it has the most overlap with all of the other geekdoms. So if you go to a gaming con, it's pretty much all gamers. Go to a comic con, it's all comic people. Go to an anime con, it's gamers and comic people and anime people. It's everything.
Because there's the manga, which taps to the comics. There's the anime, which taps to the video games. There's the anime that taps to Japan, which taps to anything Japanese, which includes video games and live-action cinema.
There's also the furries who just go because there's a whole bunch of geeks.
And there's sci-fi anime, which taps to real sci-fi. It taps into every geekery. Other geekeries don't do that, as well as anime does.
I can't stop looking at... There's 2 plush workshops, and I'm not going to explain what plushies are, but they're a little bit more sinister than just stuffed animals.
Yes, now the thing is that the anime cons, most of the attendees are hormone-enraged, attention-whoring high school kids.
Why couldn't these cons have been around when I was a hormone-raging kid?
Exactly.
What?
So now old men go to these things, and all they see is a bunch of really horny teenagers running around being perverts. Now, I'm not going to say they shouldn't do that, because that's what I would have done when I was a kid.
Yeah, plus the thing is, when I go to a con and I see that, I don't think, damn kids. I think, yeah, those kids look like they're having a lot of fun, and they're not in my way.
Yeah, as long as they stay out of my way, the worst that they can do to me is make me cringe if I see them do something terrible.
But even then, I think, yeah, that's something I would have done.
Yeah, but I also cringe to think, oh, that's something I would have done.
You were once a kid running around hitting
That is
things.
true, but think about this. I was once a kid doing all the same stupid things, but if I could travel back in time, I would prevent myself from doing every one of those stupid things.
What?
And I would teach myself straight.
I tell myself to do more stupid things. I don't regret anything in my life, but there are.
I don't regret anything at all.
But there are a lot.
But it would be so much more awesome. Imagine if I was as awesome as I am now when I was 3. Fear
Yeah.
that. Fear that shit.
See, I would go back in time and tell myself to do a lot of the stupid things that I realized were stupid and didn't do. Because by doing them, I'd have more stories today.
I guess I would, be doing a different set of stupid things and perhaps a lot of awesome things instead of stupid things.
I missed out on a lot of things that would have been really stupid to do, but at the same time, they probably would have ended up being awesome, or I would have died.
We would have died.
Yeah, I would have been stranded, like, I don't know, in Alabama with no money and my car's missing.
Let's talk a little bit more about anime next. The thing about anime next that I think is its best feature and its worst problem is that it's too big for its location. And I think they know this because it's one of the questions on their survey.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much as big as it can be where it is, and there's nowhere to move to.
Yes, the Meadowlands area plaza place, which is not, Giant Stadium and the Continental Airlines Arena. It's down the road from that. There's a little expo center there, which they use the entirety of. There is a Embassy Suites hotel in which they use, I think, 3 rooms. And there is a Holiday Inn in which they use the whole mess of rooms. They had the video games over there and all that. The problem with that is that if the weather was bad, walking from building to building would have been a nightmare.
Luckily, the weather was nice, and there was a lot of cool hanging out outside.
Yes, there was basically outside. This is an outside con, which is very interesting and unique in that, people only went inside to do con events. You only went in the Holiday Inn to play video games. You only went in, the embassy to do a panel. You only went in the main con center to go to the dealer's room or a main event. Other than that, you hung out outside where there was lots of cosplaying and lots of DS playing and art drawing and all sorts of con hanging out.
Yep, once again, a quick aside, just to continually rub it in the faces of PSP people because we can, and we know you'll yell at us in the
We
forums.
saw one PSP, I think.
Yeah, one guy was he wasn't playing it. We've never seen anyone playing a PSP in public, but he was carrying it around openly, like to show people he had it.
Meanwhile, up in the video game hallway, there were so many DSs that the wireless went down, and we had to split up and form separate LAN parties. And we went outside into the grass and had us a good old time playing Mario Kart and Tetris.
Yep, we played some hellish Mario Kart and some awesome Tetris.
That we did.
I proved to all these young punk kids that I am the supreme almighty god of Mario Kart.
And I did pretty good in Tetris, but I think there's one kid who was actually better than me.
He was really good because I died early in one round and I was watching him.
I did win a whole bunch of rounds, though.
You did.
Okay.
But he was the only one there who probably could have at least broken even with you given enough time.
And as with any group of punk kids, most of them are annoying, and there's always one smart kid who has, reasonable social skills and seems like a normal person.
Yep, I forget all their names, but whatever.
Whatever, they're just punk kids.
They might be listening. We gave them Geeknights flyers.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Hey, punk kids who played DS on the lawn with us, one of you doesn't suck.
Yeah, you should all join to figure out who.
Yes, that is what you should do. You should come to Otakon and meet us, and I remember kind of what the one who doesn't suck looks like, so I can point him out.
But there were so many DSs. I mean, we were sitting in that Wii panel, which, no offense, dude, but it was kind of boring as hell, so we were picto-chatting. And there were all these people out who were in the panel picto-chatting with us who were like, this sucks, and they left.
Well, one person was in the panel picto-chatting with us, and one person was in the cosplay line picto-chatting with us.
And then one guy left the panel to go get in the cosplay line because he didn't like the panel, and he kept picto-chatting. And he was like, come on, you should leave. Join us in line.
And I said, no, I don't want to see the cosplay.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of the cosplay.
And, other than that, the con was just a normal, good con. I definitely would recommend anyone who lives within a couple hours at least go for Saturday.
Yeah, if you live, see that's the problem. It seems to be with cons. If they're far away, you can get a hotel and get the full experience. But if you live close by, but not so close by, you can drive back and forth. Like if you live within a half hour, you can drive back and forth like 2 or 3 times a day. But if you live more than an hour away, it's not worth it to drive back and forth Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But it's also not worth it to get a hotel because you're so close. So you can only really go for one day.
Well, it's like my good friend Nuri when I went to Animazement and staff and all that there. Despite the fact that she lives somewhat like really close to the con, she had a hotel room that we all stayed in because it just wasn't worth it to drive back and forth every day.
Well, if you're staff and you have to stay all 3 days, then you got to get the hotel room to make it easy and convenient.
Yeah, but
I imagine if she wasn't staff and you were just attending that con,
we still would have hotel room.
It depends how cheap the hotel is. If the hotel is really cheap,
Dude,
it can be worth it.
It's not New York City or Baltimore. Hotels are cheap as dirt in most of the world.
You like that one we stayed in when we went to RIT?
Oh my God, that was the second cheapest hotel I've ever stayed in, and actually nowhere near the crappiest.
No, it's probably the 3rd or 4th worst hotel I've stayed in.
I stayed at a family inn somewhere in West Virginia. And
I stayed at the Paramount Hotel. I'll take you to the Paramount Hotel sometime when we go down Route 17.
I just want to note that this family inn in West Virginia was the scuzziest place I have ever slept in my life, and I have slept on the streets of New York City.
I'll show you the Paramount Hotel next time we go down Route 17. The Paramount is something... I could do a whole Geek Fable episode about the Paramount. Seriously. I stayed there many times. Don't ask why.
All right. What else did we do at Anime Next? We met the UberCon staff, which I think we're going to try to either do a live show at one or both of the UberCons. And more importantly, we're definitely going to be running some games at these cons.
If you go to UberCon, we will be running German board games all day and playing Burning Wheel all night.
Yes.
That's what we're going to be doing.
That's pretty much it. Maybe doing a panel.
Yeah, maybe doing a podcast panel. We met the Game Station radio guys were aggressively marketing their podcast. I listened to it and it was okay. You can go listen to it, see if you like it. It's a video game podcast.
Yeah. No, they were marketing. I mean, we really are uncomfortable promoting ourselves. It's weird. Like we made these
because we hate advertisers so much that becoming a salesman, becoming a pusher. We were complaining about pushers at Wizard World Philly. We can't be a pusher.
I mean, I could sell something to one person.
Yeah, like if I had a job, in a Best Buy selling computer parts, I could do that.
Hell, even like I do this panelist and staff on all these cons, and I've gotten into all these positions everywhere. And every time I interview for jobs in the IT world, I always get them. I'm really good at selling myself and selling things I do to people, as long as it's on a one-on-one basis and I'm talking to someone. I don't feel comfortable advertising to mass audiences.
Yeah, just walking around saying, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. It feels like you're a spammer
Yeah,
almost.
I feel like a whore. Now, these guys were just handing out their flyers, and we wouldn't do that. Like, we would, hand a flyer to one guy after we talked to him for a while.
Or we'd leave them on a table and let people take them as they would.
Yep.
And these guys, they gave us their flyer 3 times because we ran into them so much.
The third time, I was like, dude, you've already given us 2. He's like, oh.
Yep. There were some other podcasts.
Oh, the Otaku Generation?
Yeah, they had a big panel there, and they had lots of fancy equipment. And I listened to part of one of their episodes. You can go listen to that one for yourself, too.
I like how you're not passing your judgment, but at the same
time... Because
we're
already at war with one podcast, those stupid Moon Masters. Those sons of bitch Moon Masters we're at war with, those West Coast retards.
Well, I heard what they did.
I don't have any resources to go fight with any other podcasts. If we can't fight a war on 2 fronts.
Yeah, well, you know what? At least Otaku Generation, they kicked my dog.
They kicked my dog?
That should be a thing of the day.
You kicked my dog.
That's like the oldest thing.
Kapal, kicked my dog.
But we went in and talked to him. We didn't really get a chance to stay for their panel because we had to go eat steak.
Steak at the Outback.
Yep.
Where did we eat lunch? We ate lunch at Cheeseburger something.
The place with the steel drums
Cheeseburger
guy.
Paradise?
We were so excited. We're sitting there eating, and then this guy comes out and sets up steel drums. And it looks like he's going to do some awesome steel drumming.
I love me some steel drumming. I'm going to go download some on YouTube and Pirate Bay and all that.
His steel drumming was pretty meh, and it ended up just being real annoying.
Yeah, his steel drumming was mediocre at best.
But I got to say, the Outback will not cook steaks as rare as I want them.
Nope.
I was like, give it to me as rare as you can, and it was cooked at least 3 times as long as I wanted it to be cooked.
Yeah. Anyway, is an interesting side note. While we were sitting in Cheeseburger Paradise, eating our amazing lunches, there on the TVs was the World Cup, which is relatively interesting, and some boxing, which is, boxing. And then we got into a discussion about Mike Tyson. And I think we're going to have to talk about Mike Tyson in the future.
I think we're going to do a whole Thursday show at some point on Mike Tyson.
Really? A whole Thursday on Mike Tyson?
You know what? I could do a whole Thursday on Mike Tyson.
All right, maybe we should.
Especially since...
I bet you there hasn't been a podcast ever about Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Unless maybe...
for a second, I thought, I wonder if we could get him on the show. And the answer was
no. You don't want him on the show either.
No, we don't.
No, definitely not. But he might have been mentioned on a sports podcast at some point, in passing. Or he might have been, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was probably mentioned on a video game podcast.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone's ever done like an annotated biography of Mike Tyson in a podcast.
In the very least, we'll make a thing of the day, a video of him fighting.
Yes. All I can say now is that after watching Mike Tyson fighting on YouTube and some other YouTube videos of Mike Tyson and reading Mike Tyson's Wikipedia, while he is a horrible, horrible man, I now view him in a different light and respect some aspects of his life.
Yes, I mean, to his credit, I really think that a lot of the problems he had and the things he did were very much a result of the culture and the way he lived. I mean, he lived by beating people up and getting beat up, and that didn't affect his brain so well. In addition...
His childhood wasn't so great.
And a lot of people, even when he was a professional, took a lot of advantage of him because he really didn't know.
Yep. And
not to excuse the things he did.
No, not at all. That's the last thing we're going to do. But, the thing that I learned...
It's like with Hitler. I don't like what Hitler did, but I understand why he did it.
Yep. The thing I learned most about Mike Tyson and respect the most is the fact that he knew he was bad and stupid. He knew it. He was sitting there saying, I'm a convicted rapist. I'm a terrible guy. I'm not an eloquent man. What do you want from me? And I was like, at least he knows. At least he has balls to admit it. And I realized if I was ever famous like that, I would probably have to deal with some of the things he deals with because I'm too brutally honest and too open. And most famous people put up this fake thing, and Mike Tyson doesn't do that. And for that one thing, he's, I guess, better than complete shit. He's better than Hitler, at least.
Yeah, but anyway, to get off that tangent, I think
Mike Tyson, anime next, Mike Tyson.
I don't know what else we can say about Anime Next, but if any of the staff are listening, because we've found that most of the cons we go to, all the staff either listen or end up listening, which seemed to start with Katsucon. But you guys put on a really good con, and I hope you find a way to deal with your space problem.
Yep, the con was run very well. There was no problems with the running of the con. Registration was smooth. Staff were courteous.
There was one problem. Actually, I want to talk about this.
Okay.
We went upstairs to the gaming room because we wanted to play some games.
Oh, you are correct. There was one problem.
The room smelled like horrible fanboy. Like, I gagged.
This is the board gaming room, not the video gaming room.
Now, also, in the video gaming room, they had 2 video game rooms. One of them was a normal video game room. The other room, which was almost as big as the first room, was just a DDR machine, and the air conditioning was turned on max. They're geniuses. There was no smell.
There was no smell. The room was filled with people. There was one DDR machine. There was a crazy air conditioner. There was nothing else in the room but DDR, and it was perfect.
But the board gaming room smelled like a fanboy who had never seen a bar of soap.
Yet, when we returned hours later, the smell was gone. There was a warning sign on the door. The room was crowded, full of people gaming. There was many Lysols and Febrezes.
Yep. So I think they just kicked the dude out who smelled like an open asshole.
I think they must have. There's no other explanation for it.
Yeah. I really, that's the one thing I think all conventions should take a very strong stance on that, because people who don't engage in basic human hygiene really give anime fandom and, well, more so gaming fandom, a bad name.
Yep. Now, you have the freedom to not bathe. You have the freedom to smell as bad as you want. But as soon as you set your stink into my nose, you have, how they say, the right to swing your fist ends in my face. If your smell gets in my nose, that's in my face. You can't do that.
You can make the argument that what if someone puts on too much cologne, or what if you just don't like their cologne, or so really my point is more that A convention is fully within its right to kick you out if you don't wash yourself.
Oh, hells yes. Convention has the right to kick you out for any reason whatsoever. They can kick you out because they don't like the look of you.
I'd like to say right now, at any conventions that don't feel like they have the moxie, the cojones.
Well, it's not so much conventions. Any convention
chutzpah.
has as a whole has the moxie and the chutzpah to kick people out. It's the individual staffers of the convention.
I'll tell you all right now,
I've never
I'll do
seen a con guide that doesn't say we can kick your ass out.
I've done it. At our anime club at RIT, we kicked people out who smelled.
Yep.
In no uncertain terms. At Animazement, all these cons start with anime, so I keep mixing them up. I mentioned to a few people that perhaps they should go take a shower.
Mm-hmm. Were they DDR players or obese people?
They weren't obese. They were punk kids. They had been doing something, and I'm not sure what.
Oh. Okay, then.
I don't know if they were playing games or running around or what, but they smelled bad. Bad.
Bad smell. Bad.
Very bad.
Okay. Can we go to bed now? I have to go to the city tomorrow.
Yeah, I got to do post-production on this bastard now. All right. Once again, we would have had Jim Vowles. We're sorry we didn't.
We're sorry to Jim Vowles. He wasted his time.
He's an awesome guy.
We're giving the middle finger to Apple for wasting our time and Jim Vowles' time.
And we'll do everything we can to have an interview with him either in the very near future or after Otakon. Suffice yourself by going to our forums and reading the interview we already did with him, which we'll comment on next Wednesday if we don't have the actual live interview with him. Because I like to comment on that interview, but not right now.
Yep. We should make a post that says there won't be an episode Thursday or something. Or maybe we should make a little tiny MP3 saying, sorry, no episode Thursday, and put it in the Thursday feed tomorrow.
Yeah, or we can just do it Thursday when we get home.
That's too late.
Around midnight. I put up the episode later than midnight before. In fact, I'm going to put it up. It's midnight now.
All right. I'm going to bed. I had to wake up real early.
Yeah, great. So do I.
Awesome.
I got to meet with the CEO of my company tomorrow.
Awesome.
And then we're going to that concert.
Awesome.
All right. We're out. We're glad we have all you new listeners. We're sorry we didn't have Jim Vowles. And Anime Next was awesome. And that was Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for our opening theme.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com. If you like our podcasts, you'll love our forums. Make sure you visit them. You can send your email feedback to geeknights@gmail.com. And if you want, you can leave us a voicemail at 206-333-1537.
Geeknights airs every weeknight, Monday through Thursday.
Geeknights is recorded with absolutely no studio and no audience. But unlike those other talk shows, it's actually recorded at night.